2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness Inaloo or download the Revo Fitness app. RevoFitness.com.au or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
We all watched The Vision. Some people didn't believe it yesterday, looking at our producer, Amy, of the astronauts returning to Earth after, they went to the International Space Station for 8 days. They stayed for 286, which is a lot more than initially intended.
Absolutely.
They finally got to come back yesterday. Time to catch up with Dr. Shawna Pandya, who we've met here. She's been in the studio with us, to give us the lowdown on everything that they're going through. Shawna, hello.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, this is so amazing. We watched all The Vision yesterday. I've got to admit, though, I was kind of with Amy. I was watching it because it was coming through from a satellite coverage, and I was thinking, oh, we've been stung here. This is a phony.
It looked like it was CGI'd.
But very exciting.
Did it look that way to you?
You know, the tip-off was that it was so perfect that if this was CGI, that they would have ruined it, because anyone who's doing a fairy tale kind of story or a Hollywood ending would have known not to put the dolphins in, because they knew that would have kind of been, pushed the limits of belief or disbelief. And, this was so picture perfect. It was during the daytime, clear ocean, calm seas, beautiful turquoise waters. For anyone who was watching live, they saw these beautiful main shoots just unfurling like jellyfish. And then, out of nowhere, these dolphins come right up to the SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule as if to say, hello, welcome back, we missed you. It was just so perfect.
It's crazy.
So, Shawna, they were in there 286 days. What type of, how's their body? What would be going on with their body?
It takes a toll, right?
After that long?
There's a lot, yeah. So the 3 main systems, so the short summary is that every single bodily system is affected by being in space, but the 3 main ones that will be focused on for rehabilitation will be the cardiovascular systems, the neurosensory systems, and the musculoskeletal systems. So just think of your inner ear, your heart, as well as your muscles. And so for anyone who is watching the landing live, you'll notice that each one of the 4 returning crew members were wheeled out on stretchers, and that's not because anything was wrong. It's a matter of protocol, because imagine that you have not stood up on your own 2 feet for 9 months. Imagine the next time you try to stand up, your legs are going to be decompensated. You're going to have a hard time just even trying to maintain the blood flow to your brain. The valves in your legs are very compensated, so you have a very real risk of fainting or falling over. And your inner ear, which has spent all this time in 0G, where there was no up or down, suddenly has to relearn all of that. So, you saw them being whisked away to their initial medical evaluation, where they were given their first once-over from head to toe by the flight surgeon, and all of that's protocol, because, they're adapted to one gravity environment, in this case being a lack of gravity environment, and now they have to get used to being in the 1G that you and I take for granted every day.
It's amazing to think about all this stuff that they have to go back, particularly learning to walk again. So what kind of a process do they have to do, Dr. Pandya, to be able to get their legs? Is it just a couple of minutes here and there?
Yeah, what's the rehab involve?
It's a lot, is the short answer. So these astronauts are very well looked after, and that starts at pre-flight. And so every astronaut is different. Their readaptation process is different. The amount of muscle mass loss and what the rehab program they'll each go through will be tailored to each individual astronaut. So they will be immediately taken by helicopter back to mainland from the landing vessel. Then they'll be flown back to Texas. And then in the coming days, rehab, blood tests, imaging, it all starts. And they're not even doing anything that's extremely strenuous, like jogging in the first week, because they're still learning how to walk. So it'll be this cross coordination between getting maybe some cardio on a less high impact cardio machine like an elliptical. There will be definite retraining for coordination, so some hand-eye coordination, maybe with a ball, and then just re-strengthening those core muscles like the abs, which we haven't had to use in space. So, it's very, very meticulous. It goes on for at least a month, and it's tailored to every astronaut. And then, just to start getting used to resistive exercise in a safe environment, they might do what we call hydrotherapy, which will include some swimming and some water exercises as well.
Oh, Nat.
I imagine that even just getting used to gravity again is going to blow their minds, that if you drop something, it's going to fall to the ground.
Exactly.
Whereas they're used to things just floating around them. That must be, even that would be hard to get your head around.
Yeah, there was there's so much here that we take for granted. So there's, of course, the gravity. And then one point that was made during the landing commentary yesterday was that this is the first time they will be breathing fresh air in 9 months.
Wow.
So, we can just walk outside if we feel like it. They can't. So it really does kind of hammer home how much we take for granted just being here on Earth. So, they've been through a lot, but they all four of them, Butch, Sonny, Nick, Alexander, showed that they were up to the task.
Was there any physical advantages of being in space that long? They're not getting melanoma up there, I assume. But, is there anything that would be better off once you're in space for 286 days?
You get to fly. It's I've been in parabolic flight. I've done almost 190 of these parabolas now, so much shorter duration than what an International Space Station mission entails. But it is incredible. Floating is one of the most freeing feelings you'll ever get to experience. I can't wait to experience it again myself. And there's a lot of fun to be had up there. Koichi Wakata, one of the famous Japanese astronauts, has this incredible video of him playing all the positions in baseball as a one-man show. So he'll throw the ball, and then he'll race to the other side of the station. He'll catch it. He'll meet it in time to hit it with a bat and then go back and catch it. So, you can get pretty creative up there.
It's hard to throw a fastball, though.
Absolutely. And he got caught out trying to steal home, which is unbelievable. I wanted to know, Dr. Pandya, do you know, so the astronauts are safe at home, and we all know that now. They got on the stretchers and they go off. Do you know what kind of foods that they would want to be eating and or allowed to be eating? Because you'd think, oh my God, thank God, no dehydrated stuff. Do I get a burger, whatever? But I'd imagine your body wouldn't take to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so their nutritional status is very closely monitored. So when I say these guys are well looked after, I mean it. There's a whole team of flight surgeons, psychologists, nutritionists, rehab specialists, all looking after them. But the luxury that they get being back here on Earth, they can actually have fresh fruit, fresh vegetables now, which, up on station are a whole luxury because they're vegetables and fruit. They're wet, they're heavy, they have a finite shelf life. So, an orange that you and I may take for granted is sent up as a luxury item for Christmas. So these guys get to go back to their usual diet soon, and of course their nutritional status will be closely monitored.
Theoretically speaking, how long would it be before those particular astronauts, Sonny and Butch, would be able to go back up there again?
That I would actually be highly dependent on each astronaut. I'm sure they want to spend some time with their families and practice.
How about you turn them around? Back you go. So physically, within months?
Some of it will be dependent on what their pre versus post-flight status is. So their bone density, their muscle mass, their core muscle strength, all of that is meticulously recorded before flight. And then those same measurements are undertaken post-flight. And then trying to get them back to their baseline, all of that. For example, for bone density loss, that's something we haven't talked about yet. They would have lost, 1 to 2% per month if they hadn't been doing exercise up on the station.
That's significant loss. Yeah,
exactly. So looking at when they get back to their baseline, and there's a whole lot of mission debriefing. There's a whole lot of recovery from this mission that needs to happen as well. So it won't be anytime soon.
Yeah. I mean,
it's
they'd
amazing.
have to be keen as well, which they're probably not.
Yeah, frequent flyer miles, though.
Dr. Shawna Pandya, our favourite doctor/astronaut, thank you so much for talking to us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me. I can't wait to be back. I will be back in Perth in September of this year, so hopefully we can meet up in person.
Yes, we'll catch up with you then. That's wonderful.
do it.
Thank you.
Nathan, Nat, and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au.
2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness Inaloo or download the Revo Fitness app. RevoFitness.com.au or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.